Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing okay. I am doing all right. I did get my exercises done today. The last few days, I really was so busy. I just took time yesterday. I didn't do a lot, just rested and kind of did a few things around the house, but not much. But today, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Let me tell you something. I've been thinking about the differences. Is there any difference between a psychopath and a narcissist? They both fall under the dark tetrad of behavioral disorders. Um, Long time ago, I thought, well, maybe it's just, accidents. People, they have accidents, and nobody would ever actually intentionally do anything to a person, unless they were trying to harm them. Even if it was just a little bit, it's like, no, a normal person wouldn't do that, but I don't know. I was thinking about this incident happened with Doug's mom and dad. His dad drove into her legs and pinned her with the bumper in between the garage and the car. And he said it was an accident. Well, sort of like me catching Doug out of a tree and so he wouldn't hurt himself with the chainsaw and breaking my shoulder and my arm. He said I should have just let him bounce. Well, little things like that. And there's so many other, like driving off the road and trying to have accidents more than once, several times. I'm really careful who I get in a vehicle with. Well, let me tell you about last night, just a minute. So if you're not in the mood for, like if this is too personal into my personal life for you, or the behavior of people that have disorders, move along. This video is not for you. This is for people that are going through similar things I'm going through, because I have moral values that a narcissist and a psychopath do not have. So I'm talking to the people that are affected by the people that have no regard for other human beings. So just a minute. Most of you know that my sleep schedule and Doug's sleep schedule is way different. He'll stay up like way late and get up later, or he'll sleep in spurts like in between 4 in the morning and like now, and then get up, and so he'll take naps. And like yesterday, my day was done. It was about 9 o'clock, and he had started working on that kitchen sink, a little bit in the afternoon, and then it was about 9 o'clock at night, and he had already had like a glass of V8, and these are some eating habits of the narcissist, different things that they'll do, like this is going to be all over the place. Some of you can come along and gather what I'm saying when I'm talking about several things and still on the same topic. So anyway, he had drank that juice, and he puts other stuff in there like garlic and whatever. So he had his cocktail, what he calls it. So I go to eat something the first time in the day. I'm making myself a sandwich. He's under the sink, and when I turn around from the counter, he had his legs up. He put them down. I damn near tripped. If I hadn't heard that inner voice saying, "Watch out for this bastard," I would have broke my neck. Well, it didn't happen just one time. Then I went back in the kitchen, and I thought, no way. When it happened again, I turned around, same thing, with one leg this time, just directed right in front of me when I'm turning around. If my reflexes weren't quick, I would have broke my neck. So, like I say, if anything ever happens to me, these are attempted murders. You know, things that have happened to me are actually like micro, mini attempts on my personal being. Whether I can prove it or somebody else will say that that's not true, it doesn't make any difference. I was there. I know what happened, and I'm just telling you what happened. You know, what a trip, right? Well, I ain't tripping over no psychopath's legs in my way at 9 o'clock at night like an abnormal person. Not normal at all. Maybe that's how he functions and the time of day that most vampiristic people function, although I do know a couple vampires that would get up very early to attack the human population during the day, because they don't just walk by night, do they now? But I don't see a separation in between a psychopath and a narcissist. To me, the only difference between a psycho and a narc is that the narc maybe hasn't committed murder yet, and the psychopath has. Yeah. Or just in pretending that they could harm somebody else if they do, it wasn't really them. You see what I mean? No, they didn't do it. It was just, happenstance. Yeah. Perfectly timed happenstance. You know, would I gotta, have, my life in jeopardy thousands of times before I really realize that somebody is that ignorant about my well-being? Yeah. So I don't see a separation in narcissists and psychopaths. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You know, I really think it's only the severity is what has a psycho done that a narcissist hasn't done yet. You know, even if it were like undercooked food or something like that, like raw chicken or raw pork or whatever the case may be, isn't that still attempted murder on somebody? You know, if you knowingly do something to another person, it is an attempt of assault at least on them. So, yeah. I gotta be really careful. Here's another thing. I mean, I don't mean to go on and on, but it is on and on. It's never ending. We have a hole in our wood stove pipe to heat the house, but we have gas heat. Well, I'm allergic to wood smoke and creosote, and with that hole, and he's got a fan that points and blows it into my side of the house. Well, last night I was smelling the creosote. I said, let's just use the gas stove until we get that pipe fixed. Didn't hold any regard to anything I said. I woke up about, must have been about, well, I know exactly, it was 4:45 in the morning. And the house was just full of creosote and smoke. That's poison. It's toxin. And I turned the fan the other way. I told Doug's cat, sorry, Bob, but I turned the fan the other way and cracked some windows on my side of the house and got it cleared up pretty well. Until about an hour ago, he started it back up again, the fire. And then if it's not burning really well, it will sit there and smolder, the creosote. And, burning instead of the wood, it will just smoke and smolder. So the house was getting filled with that again, and he had turned the fan off. So it would all stay. We have a gabled ceiling in our living room, with the peak and a pitch with beams up there. Well, anyway, so it stays up in that gabled area and then pushes out throughout the rest of the house, the airflow. or the lack of airflow, I should say. So I went back in and I turned the fan on again, blowing it back into his side of the house and keeping it there, you know. So, but that is what really started my attacks with my coughing, was the creosote, because it's in the same family as like plastic, and it's a carcinogen, but it's very poisonous one, you know. I don't know if you've ever seen railroad ties that are soaked in creosote. It's oil from burning coal or wood that they treat those timbers with before they put them in the ground, so they won't ever rot. It's so, once it gets on something or in something, it's almost impossible. You can't wash it away, you know. So it's not something that I could just even like, won't be affected if it gets on my skin or eyes or in my lungs or anything, because it does affect me. It's really dangerous. So yeah, I could be feeling better, and without that, I'm sure I probably would today. So anyway, that's what's going on around me. More of my weird life. Just so weird, I can't explain it. I thought I was going to sleep in, but the phone kept ringing. Doug was sitting at his desk and just letting it ring like 4 or 5 different calls where it said robot on there. He could have hung it up and let me kind of sleep a little bit so I would feel better. But I'm telling you, these monsters are only considerate of other people if they have something to gain. If they don't have anything to gain, you're fair game. And anything they do to you, they feel justified. Whenever a narcissist has to do work, you will pay for any work they do around you because you didn't do it. And if you do it, it'll probably never be done right. There usually isn't any, what would the word be? Like, not praise, but thankfulness for the sharing of the workload or anything. They don't work with other people. They either do it all by themselves, or they complain when they have to do it, or they will actually do something physically to harm you because they have to do something. Have you ever met a narcissist that would be happy with his work day, that he accomplished something, and or you accomplished something together, and you were just really happy to have the companionship and the working as a team? They don't do that. Not at all. Also, they adopt your work. Somehow, if you do something, if they can say something witty about the work that you've done, somehow that just made all your hard labor something they did because they thought of the words to go along with your physical labor. As lame as that sounds, that's true. So anyway, Doug said he wasn't hungry last night. Oh, okay. Because I said, what are you going to eat? You know, I thought, well, I have the salad stuff out. Well, I'm not hungry. Well, I knew he was not telling me the truth because he had just had that juice, but I knew he was going to eat something later. So he had like a bowl of cereal, Then I heard him frying these sausages he said were junk, and the only reason he said they were junk is because he doesn't want me to have them, because when I said, well, I'll just take them and make biscuits and gravy out of them, he's like, oh, yeah, but I could tell. It's just these weird little things that I barely even eat them things anyway, but I might just because. I don't know. I'm thinking about it today just because of that. But because yeah, we can go get more. It's just weird they have this hoarding thing of selfishness with all food and just things like it's hard for them to hand somebody something when they want it themselves. They have this inner selfish streak it's really nasty. It really is. It's pretty awful. It really is. So anyways, and they're cooking, and this was way after midnight. I mean, just more of the abnormal bullshit around somebody that can do harm to other people by their habits in their life that they acquire for themselves that doesn't fit within the norm of society. It's pretty weird. The whole thing's pretty weird. Well, anyway, so I said, I thought you weren't hungry, and he comes over to my door and he goes, I didn't hear you. I said, I thought you weren't hungry. Oh, well, I was after I ate that bowl of cereal, and I thought, oh yeah. It's kind of the same old thing all the time, but it's just weird. More strange eating habits of the narcissist is if you're watching them eat, they have a thing like, Doug used to do this with pizza all the time. It would drive me crazy because, yeah, you got to pick up a slice of pizza, but even if it wasn't gooey or drippy or anything, he'd take a bite and set it down, and then he'd take his hand and like he's dripping the grease off his hand onto the pizza in disgust, and then pick it up and eat some more. It's like trying to disturb your enjoyment. Really, really little signals of weird little eating habits to disturb other people while they are eating. Or this drove me crazy. I had to walk away yesterday. He was drinking his juice, and when he's drinking it and he's talking, he's like this. He wants me to stand there and listen to him talk while he goes like this with juice. Now, get this. And, while they're talking and smacking their lips, and I'm not kidding, it drives me fucking batty. Like, it's almost like a total disregard and disrespect of substance that God gives us. Not only is he annihilating the food, but he's annihilating me with the food while he's eating it, and it's not with just beverages. It's like almost with everything. Yeah, there's a certain smacking your lips or crunching something crunchy that can sound appetizing, but this isn't like that. It's different. So it's just weird eating habits that they have, or stirring something in a glass. Like if you stir up something in a cup, like if you add sugar to something, which I don't a lot, but and clank the fucking glass like about 3 dozen times, it's just so strange. Or when they're eating, like scraping the plate, I I don't know how to explain the, it's like they practice the irritating things. They see what bothers people, and then they go with that because it's another tool that they can implement against people, even with eating, walking, talking, whatever it is that they can do in an adverse way is what they go with, and they practice it, and it is a type of dark witchcraft. It absolutely is. And you will see things in common that these narcissists do, you know, and they even pick up habits from other narcissists. They think, oh, that looks pretty annihilating. I think I'll pick that up, and do it. And they do, you know. This isn't just cigarette smoke in here, by the way. It's creosote. Yeah, the cigarette smoke doesn't bother me. Yeah, anyway. I really do think I would be feeling a little bit better today if I was left to heal a little bit, but I never am. I always have to battle through another battle on top of what is going on. Doesn't matter, it's been the same way with my stroke or broken bones, or who could look at somebody with a broken bone and then bitch because they're not making supper when their fucking arms broke, something like that. It would take a real cold-hearted, soulless person to be that ignorant of other human beings on this planet, unless it's them with the broken bone. Then things kind of, the tables turn, only temporarily though, for as long as they need you to help them when they're not doing well. They pretend to help when you're not doing well, but within that, you might get injured again, like doubly on top of what's going on. So be careful. It's like, I swear, God stop me. Watch out for that bastard's legs. Sure enough. And then the second time, I'm like, no way. If you're on the ground and you're doing plumbing and you can see, you're laying there, you see somebody walk by and actually talk to you and then put your leg down when they're turning around. Yeah, you see what's going on. He's lucky I didn't trip. If I hurt myself, if I don't die, it's going to be a lucky thing if I don't die. So maybe he'll be lucky if I do. See, his birthday's coming up and he gets in this weird, it's almost like he goes into heat in the spring. A lot of people do. But his birthday is, he's a cusp, Eris Taurus cusp, same as Hitler. Not exact year, but Doug is for 2050. So, yeah, he was born on Hitler's birthday. And that's not a coincidence either, by the way. If your thoughts are that of a mass murderer, who are you? He told me a few days ago, or the day before yesterday, that he forgave his brother for all the things his brother had done to him. And through the years, I've come to realize that they really aren't a lot different. It's only Doug is more evil. And I told him yesterday, well, you both were raised by the same dysfunctional parents. I said, that's something to keep in mind within your forgiveness, because I don't believe him. He's like, and I don't have to like somebody. I said, right. You can love people and you can forgive them. You don't have to spend time with them. Well, that's what he said. I don't have to spend time with them. And I said, no, you don't. You know? There's a lot of people I forgave that I just really, I mean, of course, I wish things were different. I wish they could realize what walking in my shoes was like. But besides that, there's nothing I can do about it. So I have to walk away. I have to distance myself from crazy people that are heartless and cold, you know? So from what I can tell, the only difference between a narcissist and a psychopath is they actually just haven't gotten caught with their attempts, or they've actually done things and the dark force takes care of them because that's where they get their powers from. Just like I was protected when I turned around, I had no clue his leg was out there the first time. The second time, I stopped like really quick, just in time. It was that inner voice that doesn't come from me. That was not mine. I can't prove that. It's like God just said, look, look, watch out, you know. I would have went flying. I had a plate of salad, you know. It's like, wow, that would have been dangerous. Ooh, if I hurt myself, I would have been so mad. Because these things happen on purpose to me. Really, if you were in a car, I had my kid in the car and he drove off the road intentionally. That time I knew it was on purpose and I split my knee open on the dash. I had blood running down my legs and we had to walk home. He was just about running ahead of me, pretending he was angry because he had driven off the road. One other time we were alone together. This is pretty much when we first started seeing each other. I thought it was an accident, but he drove off the road right by a telephone pole right in front of my face. It just, like, I was thinking the car needed to move over just a little bit, and it did. Otherwise, that telephone pole would have been right here, you know. But it ended up on that side of the car by my car door. But yeah, he drove right. I watched him drive right off the road, and I thought, well, yeah, people get tired and stuff. It didn't really hit me what was going on at that time when that one happened. But there's other things. Those are just a couple things. There's many more that if I added them up and put them in a book, you'd be like, first off, what are you still doing with this joker? Would be my first thought. Well, you try making it when you're barely healing from one injury that these narcissists have done to you into another one, so you can't actually ever be as strong as you want to be because they don't let you. And that's what's going on in my life. So I could use some prayers if anybody's got any extra ones, you know. Maybe pray for that thing. I do all the time. I've exhausted myself. No, these doesn't do any good, you know. I just have to set it and forget it. It's like, okay, God's going to help him whether he has to do this for millions of years, again and again and again, till he finally realizes that he's only going to hurt himself. I mean, but normal people don't do these things that I've been talking about. You just don't, you know? and then act like it's somebody else's fault, you know? Really, looking back on it, he's lucky he didn't injure one of my children like that. He did in other ways, massive ways. But then so did the rest of the dark cabal that wield their dark magic around my family, at my children. So, well, I'm going to get this uploaded. What do you think? Is there a difference between a narcissist and a psychopath? Or is it just that one has been caught and the other one hasn't yet? Because anything that you do that's going to harm another person, whether it's emotionally, physically, whatever, that's an attempt on their life. So, what do you think? I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.